Hi, today I want to show you how to use every part of your jack-o'-lantern. So back here I have the seeds that I have rinsed and I'm laying them out to dry. And do yourself a favor, when you're rinsing these in the colander, get your fingers in there because it is the coolest feeling ever. It's like slimy, but also soft. It's good. Maybe you've done it. It's fun. I had my son try too because what kid doesn't like something weird feeling? Weird in a good way. So these are drying. And then over here, I've got the innards of the pumpkin. Let's see if I can get it. So this is not, it was a giant pumpkin. I'll show you the pumpkin. This is really, he painted the outside of it, my son, so there was a lot of like paint getting in, so I couldn't use the stuff that got paint from the knife going through. Here's my tea water. And I suggested cutting out more of the meat from the sides of the pumpkin, but he didn't want to do that either. He didn't want shallow walls. So even with mostly just getting the stuff that's right around the seeds and then some from the lid, it's still a full pot. And I'm going to use this. I'm going to make pumpkin puree, but I want to cook it down quite a bit first because pumpkin is really watery. So I've got it and all of its juices I put in there too for the flavor, and so it wouldn't burn in the beginning. It's gonna make it take longer doing that, but maybe we'll see if I do that again. There were quite a few juices that came out after it had sat in the colander until I could get to it. So that's gonna be our pumpkin. We're gonna make pumpkin pie. Leo wants pumpkin pie with that. And I'm gonna make two different preparations, a sweet and a savory of the pumpkin seeds. So I will take you along for that. Here I have melting about 4 tablespoons of butter. And then I'm going to add my pumpkin seeds, which I've moved into measuring cup. So I could see how much I had, which I have 3 cups. So I'm going to do about 1.5 cups of each. So let's just get this moved around the bottom. Put those in. I have my oven preheated to 350. Look, our gourds we grew. I mean, that's just a small portion of them. They're everywhere. Grew lots. And the whole kitchen smells really good. This pumpkin smells really good, just like it should. Okay, so I just took my immersion blender and blended this up so I could kind of see how thick it was, which it's pretty good. I don't know. I think I might let it go a little longer, but that's getting really nice. I know the canned stuff, which I'm kind of trying to do that because when you make pumpkin pie, it's gonna be like, that's the consistency you want, I think. So maybe a little bit thicker, but it's looking good. And then these are just about done. Just sauteing them in butter until they're lightly browned, which they are looking that way. So now I'm gonna move these over to my parchment lined baking sheets. 2 of them, because I'm doing 2 flavors. And we will spice them up. Oh, they smell really good. These smell incredible. I have certainly made these before. However, I have never sauteed them in butter first, which is such a good idea. Okay, so, and if you didn't want to use butter, you could use coconut oil. I guess you could use olive oil. I think coconut oil would have that same kind of, a little bit richer flavor. So I want about 2 tablespoons, maybe a little less than 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. The recipe calls for cinnamon and I think nutmeg, but I'm just gonna use pumpkin pie spice, which has those things in it. And so it smells even better. Oh, and I'm gonna add salt. Because salt belongs in everything. That's Marjorie wanting to go out, and she can't because we've been seeing a fox or a coyote or something out there usually shows up in the afternoon. So we decided after 2 o'clock she needs to stay in. I've been seeing it between 3 and 6. Oh boy, I think those are gonna be really good. I'm so excited about this. I mean, I've just always made these with the usual salts and no fat. Yeah, a different experience, I think. Okay, and then this side, I'm going to do our, what we call our popcorn spice, which is salt and nutritional yeast. When I buy nutritional yeast, I always buy the non-fortified kind. It's usually fortified with the same things that it already has, and they're synthetic, so I want the real stuff. All right, and then I do have to find it online. When I look in the store, everything is fortified. So these are ready to go in. They're going to go into 350-degree oven for, I don't know how long. Yeah, look. Here are our finished pumpkin seeds. These are the nutritional yeast and salt ones. It ended up being about 35 minutes, stirring every 10 minutes, and I still think I overdid them a little bit. And this is what I learned. Oh, and this is done too. I turned that off. That's nice. Let that cool down and I'll put it in Ziploc. Well, I'll save some out to make pie with, and then I'll put the rest in Ziploc bags in the freezer. So this, and also, oh, way more salt. I need to put way more salt on. I should have salted these when they were in with the butter, and I didn't think of that until just now. And then over here is the maple pumpkin spice. And these are better. They are also just a little over, especially with the sugar, and they burnt. But I'm enjoying these more than the other ones. I think since there's the sweet, it was not as big of a deal that salt wasn't as heavy. Nora needs my help. She wants to take the lid off the crayons. And here's our pumpkin, all packaged up. I've got 2 cups in here, and that will be to make pumpkin pie this week with. So I'll just go in the refrigerator. And then I have these 3 all in 2-cup measurements, which is about what a can is. So most recipes will use that much. In plastic bags, I like to freeze them flat, so I'll put them on here to flash freeze, and then I can get them into my freezer and have pumpkin. And that is not all, because I have this is Nora's pumpkin, and she just painted hers. So, and that's in fine shape, so it'll keep a little while. I'm going to wash it eventually, and then I'll roast it. Since we're not carving this one, she doesn't care about carving yet, which is, it makes it easier. I get to have all the pumpkin out of this. So eventually that will get roasted, pureed, and frozen as well. Thank you for joining me to do pumpkin things today. Oh, and I think here's my, I forgot to mention those. There's my pumpkin seeds as well. I'm all set for pumpkin and pumpkin pie coming soon. And thanks for watching. See you next time.